Once more, I bring you greetings from Bamenda, Cameroon, northwest region of Cameroon. I am Mabel Oben, the president of Hearts and Hands for Women and the Family, an NGO whose headquarters is based in Bamenda. 16th of June, I keep repeating this, since 1991 has been celebrated every year as the Day of the African Child. So, one of the ways by which we celebrate the African child is to talk about some things that concern the children. Because the theme for this year is very attractive, leave no child behind for Africa's development. Now, truly children are really important. We all know that. Children are a gift, they are a blessing. Too many marriages break up because there is no child. So it tells us that even children are a binding force in marriages. Some women even suffer domestic violence and they remain there just because of the children. To tell you that these children are really, really important. So we have been talking one or two things concerning the children. In actual fact, we'll be culminating this on the 24th of June this year by raising some funds for the children to sponsor them in their education, any form of education. We have dubbed it Operation Sponsor a Child in Cameroon, OSAC. Operation Sponsor a Child in Cameroon Grand Fundraising. You all are welcome. We are expecting you to support the children in one way or the other. So we have been talking about child sexual abuse, and today we are still going to continue. It is indeed a very sensitive topic. Sexual abuse is actually a very sensitive topic, and too many people do not even want to talk about it. They want it to just be hidden. Some people even feel that it is not just supposed to be spoken about. No, you are supposed to say it. Now, for those who pray for their children, you know that you have to keep praying for them, and at the same time you have to educate them. Just like the Bible says, study to show yourself approved. So there is the part of studying, educating, train up a child. So there's a training that you give your children. That is education. My people perish for lack of knowledge. So knowledge is quite powerful and it's quite important. So we cannot downplay knowledge. We cannot think that knowledge is not important. So when we pray, for example, God gives us the wisdom to handle the children. So I hope I am somebody's answer to his or her prayer this day. So we want to be talking today about rape. Very horrible thing. Rape is very frightful. It's very terrible. Some people who are listening to me right now have been raped. Some have been raped and have never spoken about it. Some choose to stay quiet because of the effects of this on their lives. So this thing is not good at all. No form of sexual abuse is good. What actually is rape? Rape is when someone forces another person to have intercourse or other sexual relations by using violence or threats. When somebody forces someone by using violence or threats to have intercourse with them. At times rape is not only forced. Some are induced by drug, some are drug assisted, some are facilitated by drug. And this time it is usually with teenagers or youth or something. With children, they don't need to drug them to do anything, but with teenagers, they need to, at times they drug them and then they rape them. So it is really horrible. Just like generally sexual abuse, rape has its own effects, it has its own consequences. Rape is a very horrible way to introduce a girl to intimacy. It is a very horrible way to introduce a girl. That is especially if she was a virgin, she had never been deflowered. So if that is the introduction she will have, then it will be very challenging for her when she gets married. It will be very difficult for her to have an intimate relationship with her husband when she gets married. If she does not open up, if she is not healed, if someone does not counsel her out of that situation, that is the image she will have in her mind. And at times, marriages equally scatter because they were raped, because they are not able to open up to their spouses. Now, not only girls are raped, boys are equally raped as well. But fewer boys are raped, but it is everywhere. Boys are raped. Boys are mostly raped by other boys or other men. Rape has both psychological and physical consequences. both psychological and emotional effects on the victim. And we know that those psychological or and the emotional pains are worse than physical pains. Most often, people do not understand because it is just within. A physical pain, a physical injury is seen by all and can be treated. But an emotional pain is not seen by all. A psychological pain, it goes a long way. That is why this thing can bring about this depression. Some person can become very depressed because he or she was raped by somebody, because they are unable to talk about it. The thing is just eating them up. It's just eating them up. It's just eating them up inside. And really, oh, this thing, please, I don't know. I just hope that it will help somebody. If you have been involved in it, if you have been a perpetrator, now is the time for you to stop. Because here is how I always look at it, and here is how I always talk to, to people generally. Whenever you want to force yourself on a girl, remember that you have a sister. Remember that you have a mother. Remember that you have an auntie, a female cousin, and someone somewhere could be doing that to her. And this person you are doing it to is somebody's daughter, is somebody's aunt, is somebody's cousin. It could even be somebody's mother, and you are doing such a thing to her. So if that, do you think such a thing should be done to your own person, to your daughter? If that were your daughter, would you do it? Well, at the same time, we know that some fathers are the perpetrators. Very sad. At the same time, we will talk about incest some other time, but I've seen, some fathers who get married to their daughters. Oh, what a world. What a world indeed. What a world. From this forceful intercourse can come pregnancy. A young lady can get pregnant. She can pick up an STD, a sexually transmissible disease. She can pick up HIV, AIDS, syphilis, gonorrhea, name it. She can pick it up because such persons go around with those kind of diseases and looking for anybody to distribute them to. So those are physical consequences, and in itself is painful. It hurts. In itself, that thing hurts. It really, really, really hurts. So the pain that comes with it. We said someone can get pregnant. Yes, someone can get pregnant. You can pick up a urinary tract infection. If I'm saying this, I'm just saying like caution. Even to those who are perpetrators, if actually they are listening to me, if actually they are watching me. These victims have both short-term and long-term effects. Yes. Some immediate effects and some effects that might affect them for the rest of their lives. It is so sad. The world is a very sad place. It's a difficult place to live in. It's a challenging place to live in. Please, let's not make it very hard for other people. Let it not make it more challenging, because the normal day-to-day life is not an easy one. So please don't make it very challenging on another person. Some people live in self-blame. After they have been raped, they start blaming themselves. Maybe if I did not pass that way, maybe if I did not go there, maybe if I did not, there is no way you can justify rape. There is no way you will justify a rapist. A person who rapes is a rapist, especially if he does it repeatedly. There is no way you can justify it. But you find that some of these girls who are raped, they start blaming themselves. She told me. She told me that when she was about 13 or so, she told me that she came from a broken home. Those are some reasons for which people indulge themselves in these things. She came from a broken home. Her father, after having a good number of them with their mother, brought in a second wife. So the mother was not happy for some reason. The mother left the house and took her to her own to the girl's grandfather's house, that to the woman's father's house. So guess what? The uncle was there when the girl reached 13. The best introduction she could have to her teens is rape. Her uncle raped her. And she was like, so what am I keeping my body for? If somebody I trusted does this to me, it has done this to me, so why am I keeping my body? Why? So she went ahead, she started sleeping with any man anywhere. She did not tell anybody. So how will she heal? She'll just, those psychological things that nobody sees. That nobody sees. If she had a physical, a car accident, the mother would have rushed her to the hospital. But this one is a psychological thing. Nobody knows, but the thing is eating her up. Before long, she jumps from man to man. By 14, she had her first child. By 17, she had her second child. By the time I met her, she had slept with men she could not count. Why? Because somebody did that to her. It is very horrible. So there is no way you can justify, even when you see a girl walking naked on the street, it is no reason, that does not tell you that you should force yourself on her. You see a little baby, do you know that some people rape even 11 months old children? Some people rape some babies that are not even up to 1 year old. And you would say that what is the reason for which they do that on the child? Is this some occultic practice? Why? You see some custodians of children, people you trust, they will still sexually molest a child who is so defenseless. Most often the children are so defenseless, you know, like all the time. They can't defend themselves, they can't stand for themselves, they can't fight. They are children, they are young. They can't fight. The man will overpower them. Oh, this thing is sad. You know, some live in self-blame, some live in guilt and depression, like we said the other day, low self-esteem, and like we said the other day, some people start having suicidal tendencies. Some people actually commit suicide. So why do you contribute to somebody's early death? Why? Please make the world a better place. You are here to make the world better than you met it. Don't worsen the world. Well, at times you might want to ask the question that, but why do men really rape? Why? You know, I was reading some things, and this man said it was just there. He just kept raping, and you know, consistently he went to jail, in and out. So, but he equally was suffering, but he never told anybody. It took years for him to be able to open up when he now was seeking for treatment, for healing. He now was seeking for healing. That is when he could open up that when he was a child, he was sexually abused by someone he trusted, and that went on consistently. So at the end of the day, at that time he was helpless. He could not help himself. So now, like this, he is doing it. You know, it just produced a kind of crazy mind in him. So he just was doing it. Some men just rape to prove that they are men. You know, I am a man. I want it. I need it. You have to give me. Do you know that some men rape their wives? If it is forced, it is forced. If you ask her and she does not give you, and you insist and you force her, then you are forced her, because that's the definition of rape. Forced. Forceful sexual intercourse, that's the definition of rape. So if you force it, it is rape. So men too can also rape their wives. Yes, it's true. Men can also rape their wives. We are not saying that wives to refuse, but there are situations when even she refuses and you force it, it is rape now. It is rape. Yes. It is. So some of these people do it out of revenge, like that person. Some of them revenge on the girls because they have been wooing the girl, and the girl is going and not answering them and not responding to them and not talking to them. So they say, we will show you something today. What do you want to show? So some revenge on the parents. Because of the parents, they revenge on the children. And some because they have been talking to the girl, and the girl is not interested in that because she wants to preserve her purity, they now look for a way to rape her. That is one crazy revenge even. And some just revenge because someone had done it to them. They also want to do it to anybody who comes their way. You know, some come from broken homes. Those are dysfunctional homes. Dysfunctional homes create a very dysfunctional society, because every child in the society comes from a home. Some is peer pressure, especially when it is gang rape like that. Is peer pressure. Let's do it, let's show them that we are boys in this quarter, there are boys in this quarter, let's do it. A large part of rape, a large number of rape is planned. Rape is hardly how do we put it? Rape is usually planned. So you blame the rapist. So you put the blame on the rapist. There's no way you justify. I say no way you justify rape for no singular reason. For no single reason on earth, because it is usually planned. You have been planning to revenge on that person. You have been thinking that you will do this, you will do that before you do it, because suddenly you cannot just see a girl pass and suddenly you feel like, let me rape her. No, it is planned, because it is in dark corners, in rooms where people are not there. It is in those kind of environments. Why is it done in those kind of environments? It is because it is a planned act. So usually it is planned. Anyway, we'll continue on this topic maybe tomorrow, some other time. I just believe that there is one or two things that you learned. Please keep protecting your children. Remember that those children are presidents. Those children you are grooming are delegates. They are ministers. Those are pastors you are grooming there. Those are CEOs. Those are powerful men and women you have there. So take good care of them. Protect them as much as you can. Educate them. Make sure as a parent, mothers, fathers, you sit down and educate your child. Educate your child so he or she will be able to defend himself or herself. Let them be able to identify what is known as sexual abuse, because at times they don't even know that it's an abuse. They feel that it is okay, the uncle should have his way because it is an older person. Anyway, that was it for now. For today, I am Mabel Oben once more. I'm in Bamenda, Northwest region of Cameroon. See you next time. Keep sharing, keep sharing, keep sharing.